Good morning, HEA 411. This is Chris, your quizzical inquisitor. Right, let's start off. Let's start off with the with some contributions that I've had today from our friend Dominique down south. Hi Dominique. Now Dominique draws my attention in an email to the curious phenomenon, whereby if you try something in an online course in one internet browser, it works, and if you try it in another internet browser, it doesn't. Dominique had trouble turning over the pages, even when she went in through the university library into Adam Balin's book. She had trouble turning the pages over. It used to stick. Yeah. Now that really stumped me. I didn't know what because I was going and everything was working great. You know what I mean? But she was going in and the book was sticking. She was only being able to see one page at a time. So what I suggested was that whatever browsers that she was using, she tried a different one. And lo and behold, it worked. Explain that. So it's always worth a go. That if something doesn't work, it's always worth a go. Just trying your hand at shifting to another browser. And of all the browsers, it seems to me that the main problems lie with Internet Explorer for some reason. That's got nothing to do with us, It's got everything to do with the fact that this is still a developing technology. Nothing's kind of settled yet. So the Vox Pop that I did is starting to look. Most people are saying that I think that that they would rather have 3 consecutive days. Dominique goes on one step further and says that she would like 3 consecutive days, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. Otherwise it's going to cause trouble. So I'll investigate that. There were 1 or 2 votes for separating out the days. But in the end we'll have to go by what's the most popular. And if it's technically feasible, then I'll do my best to film, but that might be beyond our capacity. I just don't know yet. But we'll see. She also writes to me, Dominique, about psychological distress and fertility problems. I'm astonished by all of this stuff. This is all brand new to me, but of course it makes common sense, doesn't it? The first thing people tell you who go on Prozac and other serotonin reuptake inhibitors is that they lose all sense of libido. Or I've had 1 or 2 fellas say to me, even if their libido stays intact, they get ejaculatory failure. Now failure to orgasm doesn't mean much when it comes to women and fertility, but for fellas, it's kind of the critical issue. I'll tell you some other time about an essay that I wouldn't mind reading from you lot, but I'll come back to that on some other occasion, I think. So yeah, impotence and psychological stress, ejaculatory failure, loss of libido. But the more you think about it, the more psychological distress is kind of right up there, isn't it, with causing fertility problems. Type 1 diabetics. Dominique outlined some reasons why a diabetic might run into fertility problems. You've got to feel sorry for the poor diabetics, haven't you? With it just seems to me to be one complication after another. You'd think it was just a matter of giving yourself an injection of insulin every day, but the more that you get to know, they are always top of the list of complications and difficulties, aren't they? I'm always struck by, for instance, how complex the action of insulin is. It's not just a question of shifting sugar from blood into tissues. It's a whole range of effects that insulin has. Growth hormone, for instance, who'd have guessed? And sickle cell anemia causing placental infarction, Dominique tells me. I did not know that. I really did not know that. I'm going to be trying some technical innovations with this broadcast, by the way. So you're going to have to You're gonna have to bear with me because the next thing that I want to talk about is some technical problems that people. Well, the first thing to the first thing to have to say from a technical perspective on this is what happened to week 4. You know what happened. The odd thing here is the odd thing is. Bet you that's Sally Wood. I'm going to have to pause this, so I'll be back to you in just 1 second. Yeah, that was, yeah. I'm busy explaining myself all over the place. So, yeah, the week 4, I have stripped it down to its bare essentials, given all of the component parts a quick oiling, and then I've put it all back up. Now, whether or not that works, if it doesn't, then I need more technical advice than I can handle. Because you see the thing is the behind the scenes on all these lessons, there's a lot of boxes you've got to tick, and a lot of like permissions that you've got to set, and there's a lot of sort of behind the scenes stuff, and any box that you fail to tick means that the whole lot goes down. And there are some things behind there that just baffle me. So maybe, perhaps, who knows? I'll need a little bit more technical advice. But just try the new look, chapter, episode, lesson 4. Listen to me. The other thing is that our very wonderful librarian Lisa McLaren has been on to Dawson Publishers. And she's managed to get off them a new and hopefully working set of links each individual chapter. So I've put them up for week 4 and week 5. Let's see how they work. Okay. Next thing. The next section is from the discussion boards. Well, the first thing to say is that I run about it must be 6. I run about 6 online courses, and the first thing to say is that you lot seem to use the discussion board much more than any other group that I've ever, not just this group, but ever run. Most groups seem really reluctant to get involved in the discussion boards. I get 1 or 2 people. I can tell as well by what people are writing that they're doing it out of a sense of duty, whereas you lot seem to take to it like a duck to water. So what came up this week? Well, the whole issue with chapter 4 came up, and you've no idea how embarrassing that is for me, because I do understand that people set some time. They'll go, okay, I've got a couple of hours there on Wednesday evening that I'll put aside for this. And if you then go up and the stuff ain't working, it drives you nuts. But all I can say is that it appears to me to work. Everything looks from my end as though it's going okay. But clearly from your end, there's been a catastrophic failure of system here. So. No, I didn't see the program about surrogacy. I didn't watch that. But I have got a suggestion for you, and you might regard this as being rather strange, but I don't care. I want you to read a novel. I want you to read a novel and tell me what you think about it. And the novel is by a British writer called Ishiguro, and it's a Japanese name that he's got, but take my word for it, he's as British as they come. And he wrote a book called Never Let Me Go, and I won't tell you any of the plot, but it's about children who are born for a purpose. Now there, right there, you see, you can see the crossover between fertility management and this book. It's about children born for someone else's purpose, yeah? Um, and I'd be very interested to know what you thought about the book, actually. I mean, whatever you got from it, the implications for fertility management, I'd be very interested to know what you thought of it as a book. There was a film, if you want the shortcut, there is a film made of it, and I thought the film was good, actually. But I really would recommend you to read the book and tell me what it is that you think about it. But let me know. There'll be people among you who aren't really book readers, and there'll be people among you who kind of love reading. And if you are if you are a bit of a bookworm, get this book. Never Let Me Go. Let me know what it is that you think of it. The other thing that come up from the discussion boards was some very, very wonderful Vicky, who probably right now as we're talking is flying home from holiday. Not that we're taking shameful pleasure in the fact that holiday's now over and she's on her way back to work, of course. And what Vicky asks is, how do you get the results for the tests that I've put up? It should be in the My Grades thing. I can't see them because I'm not a student. So if I go and it says a person with your role doesn't have the right to, has no grades to look at. But I can see them all behind the scenes, if you see what I mean. But I've got to look at them all at once. But you have a look in My Grades and see what happens. If it's not up there, just give us a shout and I'll find out what I need to do to show you all your grades. But it should be under the My Grades button on the left hand side. So, So that's everything I've got to say. Thank you for your patience. We're all feeling our way through this, and I've got some cracking materials which people have come forward for me to record, largely from the Liverpool Women's Hospital, and I'm really looking forward to making a start on them. But other than that, press on, everybody.